Hello, I'm Tom Lohman. Today I'm going to show you how I made this bowl right here. This was the design to start out with. So what I started out, just to prove the concept here, I did a couple things. One was I cut these out of paper, and then when I stacked them up on top of each other, I made that pattern right here that I'm looking for. So then I took this, then I made a strip about 12 inches long that was bloodwood, wenge, and maple. And then I cut into 4 quarters. So I did this. So I made 4 of these. And then I put the 4 together like this. So this is what's going to happen here. So now I have to make 13 of these strips like this, and you'll see as I'm going along I'm cutting it at a 45 to make this look like this from this. So okay, we'll get started then. So after a lot of cutting and sanding, I need 13 of these guys like this here. So I cut and sanded all the pieces. So there's 3 black ones and 2 reds and the 2 whites. This was a lot of sanding here to get to this place. It's a little over 1 inch, which I was trying to get to. And I'll make this, by the time I glue and sand it, it'll be perfectly square. So then I can cut the angles at a 45. So that'll be next to start to glue it. Just glue him up. Just takes time. I have to clean that glue off of it now, and then I can start cutting the angles out next. Step here is to cut the angle in the pieces of wood. So we'll give it a try here. So here I cut it. It looks like I have to take just a real small amount off here, then I'll be good. Looking at both ends of it, it looks pretty close to the same amount taken off. Next step here is to cut the other side off here. I can do that with a 9° on the saw. I'll show you in a second. What to get out of the deal here. And I'll cut the next one and next one. So the next thing here is I want to make it look like this on their next cut. I'm going to start with a piece like this and make 1 cut to make it look like that. After that 1 cut, then we'll just have 1 more to go. Now we got two pieces like that. Just have one more cut, like I said, and we got her made. Like I talked about, I have to cut this off next, so it looks like that. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of sanding here to sharpen up these corners. I'll have to be real careful not to lose too much and make it uneven. I want these to be all the same size here. So you can see it fits nicely like that, so we're just cutting a peak off. This one has a little bit extra bigger here, so it also has a flat spot there, so I'll be able to flat spot on here. I'll be able to take a little bit here, a little bit here, square them up and make them the same. So it's looking like this might work actually. So here's 14 pieces now. Got them not glued together or anything here, but you can get the idea by looking at this, what I was trying to do. So the next thing I need to do here is I need the spacer in here, this black langy thing here. It'll be when I'm all sanded down, it'll be 0.05. Show you how I'm gluing this. You know, these pieces here are exactly where I want to be dimensionally here, so there's no room for having this not, you know, like that. They have to be exactly lined up, because when I go to clean this up, I can't take any off here. It's important to keep it exactly how it is to make the pattern work. So you need enough glue, but not a lot of squeeze out. Because every bit you squeeze out, you got to clean up. So. So putting this clamp on here just to keep the ends together and not sliding apart. So I'll do this on both ends first. So I'll make sure that they're lined up here. And start putting clamps on. Making sure it's nice in the middle, and it is. So you see some's coming out, which you've got to expect that some's going to come out. Just got to clean it up, that's all. That's really all you need to do here, and let it dry. So I got the 6 pairs glued up. Now what I'm doing is gluing the pairs together, and with the spacer in between. So I got these to glue up yet, and I have these to glue up too. So there'll be 3 glue ups this time. That'll bring us 12, and I'll have to glue the 13th one on soon too. So this next step will be to put the design on paper. I wanted to go 6 high rows, but I'll show you why that doesn't work. Is what happens here is I want to make this angle is about 45 here. I want to keep the sides at 45 also. When I have 6, it's going to be less than 45, so you're going to start cutting into, just like this design here, you see that this angle and this angle are 2 different things. I'd really like to keep them as close as possible to the same angle here. So to do that, I need to only go with 5, so I'll be knocking this top row out, just going with 5 rows total. As you see, I got the board all nicely made up. I put a layer of Wengi on it at 0.05 inches thick, and that'll be a layer between each row. So like I do every time when I'm designing, I take the actual board to the paper and mark it off. The very bottom row here is for design only. It's not going to be useful as far as developing any radius or not, but it's just used for me to get a handle on what I'm actually doing. I'll show you that in a couple minutes. So like I say, this bottom one's just for design purposes only, visual design purposes. Keeping it on the paper straight, using the graph paper as guide to straight. So this will be my center mark right here. What I did here is use this to find out what the maximum diameter of the ring can be, so from edge to edge here. And I've marked center point, so I take that and actually put it on the paper here, and that gives me the maximum amount of diameter radius. So, alright, so this will be the top. There's 5 rows. I want to go, actually I'm going to use my 45-degree angle here and set this up, getting the top of the angle, the top row as maximum point. So that looks like about it right there, and I just bring it down. That's the angle I want right there, and that will give me a base that probably a little bigger than I could want it, but it says it's 1.37 or so, 2 3/4 or something like that would be the base, total base size. That's pretty big for the size bowl, but like I said, I want to do the angle because of the design. So I take this now and bring this line up, the intersection of the last row, up to here. For each one I mark it up, go up, and this is just giving you an idea how thick walls we'll have in here. So if I connect the dots on this, you don't need this, it's just for visual how thick the walls will be, how much wood do you have to work with. So anyway, so this is for each one of these intersections, I transfer that down to here. So, like I said, this is for design visual only. So I do here now is connect the dots. Okay, so got it designed. So this is just showing you the flat board and how these will be cut out, these rings will be cut out from that flat board. So if you project this from B, you project it up, you'll see the corresponding rings here. And now I use this to transfer onto the board. So I do the top one first, seeing it's already marked up or to the right size. So put it in my center mark that I made earlier. So this will be the maximum, the outside diameter of the bowl. Right here, I just went use as much wood as I could here. And actually, you won't have to cut this one out. You can if you want, you don't need to. So take this transfer, I don't have to cut this one. I'm going on the outside here, make my rings on the outside, and I'll just go one after the other. So this would be the bottom ring. You can see that it's going to be pretty big in the middle here, but like I said, I needed it to get that 45. So I'm just setting this up from the center of the bowl to the outside. Center of the bowl to the outside. Marking my corresponding rings on there. Done here. This is just for show. This is showing the actual flat board where these rings are coming from. There's 5 of them, and then this here, and this basically you see A and B here. So you just slide that up. There's B and there's C, and so then I took from the center here to the outside ring here of that's outside wall, and I transferred that onto the board. So here's your center point, there's the first ring outline. So I just put my pencil marks on there so I can use my scroll saw. I'll drill a hole in the side, put the scroll saw through there, and that's what I... So I made this little jig here. This is a piece that cut out of it. So I drilled a sample hole here that I made sure that my scroll saw blade could fit through it, and it does. And so now it's just a matter of either using this little one here or the big one. Not sure. I'm hoping for the big one, but we'll see. So first of all, I mentioned that I don't have to cut out this one, and I'm not going to right now. And if I do cut it out, I can cut it straight instead of an angle. So I'm going to cut the next row here, get the bit started. And all I'm doing here is using this guy here to make sure that my drill bit stays 40 at 45. That's it. Start the next one. So I got all the holes drilled. I got the scroll saw blade in. The kind of scroll saw blades that I use when I'm doing this thick wood like this is called the Olson thick wood blades. I just went to Menards, got them. So they're a little bit better for this thick wood. So I got the blade threaded and tensioned up, and now I just have to start cutting. It's a pretty tedious process, but I'll show you how it goes. So I got the rings all cut out, and so this is ring 2, this is ring 3. Looking at it, how to line these guys up, I think I'm going to be looking at this line right here, making sure they're lined up that way. And then I'll have to do the same, of course, over on this side, and making sure I'm somewhat in the center. So it's going to be a little tricky and critical that I get these all lined up. I knew it was going to be a little bit tricky, but not very doable here though. So just kind of look through it down the line here and make sure that it's lined up. You'll see your 45s coming out here, and then you're straight on here. And if you do that, I'm pretty sure I can make this work. So I put the first bottom row on, and I used that X mark that was on it to center it. So I center it like that. Let it set a couple minutes, then took it out, and put this on here for a little bit more pressing. And that's it. Just let it. So lining these up, I got some glue in there right now, and I'm just looking at it, trying to visually get the lines to all line up here. And it's a bit tricky, but I think it should work. All goes well. You also have these diagonal lines here that should be lined up too. So it's hard to get them perfect. I don't think I'm going to be perfect on this, but get as close as I can get. So that's the first 3 rows glued up on here. Keeping my fingers crossed that I have them aligned. When I look at it from the inside, it looks good. There's a couple spots on here that a little deceiving. I'm hoping there's deceiving. It doesn't look 100% line up, but it's close. So we'll see when we start lathing how close it really is. Okay, so all the rows are glued on now, so we'll let her dry for a few hours before we start lathing. Okay, so I got it all glued up here, and now it's time to do a little cleaning. This is the support I put on the inside. Now I'll start lathing on the outside. Okay, so I've done the lathing that I'm going to do on this. The sanding all done, and I'm ready to put some finish on it now. It's lined up fairly nicely. Well, I was able to get her done. It's kind of a cool effect on it.